While many know David for what he's achieved on the course, being in his home province gave us the chance to explore another side of David Watts.
I was born with fibular hemimelia, which is in my lower left leg, which basically means I was born without my fibula and missing a growth plate and kind of a deformed foot. So I only have 3 toes on my left foot. So obviously my left leg didn't grow like my right leg did, or like a normal leg would. So yeah, it's effectively what I had to have is there's 2 choices that you can do. You can have even amputation, or you can have a contraption put on your leg, which is called the Elizarov, which basically what they do is they insert pins into the top part of your leg and pins into the bottom part of your leg, and they break the bone in the middle, and there are 4 turners on each side. And what you do is, over a period of about 6 months, you turn these turners every 6 hours, fractional, like literally like a millimeter at a time, and it gradually pulls your bone apart. And what happens is, after you've finished that like initial period of 6 months, there's probably about 7-8 centimeters of gap between the bones, and then you keep this Elizarov contraption on, and new bone then grows in that place, so it lengthens your leg. So I mean, I had 3 of these operations. I had them at the age of 6, at the age of 12, and at the age of 16. So you have to have them done before you finish growing. And my leg was lengthened a total of about 27 centimeters over those 3 operations. So all in all, it's around about a year that this procedure takes. So yeah, I mean, obviously it greatly affected, kind of my, the activities that I could do as a child and growing up and being at school. And that's kind of what led me to playing golf, because golf is obviously conducive to a wide variety of people. It's not a contact sport. It's not a heavy sport on your body, and there's a huge number of ways that you can play, and that's kind of was one of the main reasons I think my parents got me into golf at quite a young age. There's a lot of time away. I mean, the only doctor at the time in the country that did that operations was based in Pretoria. So it was obviously quite an expensive exercise for my parents as well. So I was very grateful that my parents could firstly afford to give me those operations. During school, I've started, I played cricket up until under 15 level, which was kind of always my main sport. Golf kind of came in round about when I was 11, maybe just before I was 11 years old. Obviously, I was never allowed to play contact sport because of my condition, and golf kind of became my wintertime sport. Eventually it kind of took over, and I stopped playing cricket around under 15 level. Yeah, so I mean, obviously also I did swim and play water polo. Swimming was always a great sport. I still do swim to this day, when I'm not being lazy. But yeah, it was, I mean, I swam pretty much up until kind of finished school. Water polo probably to about under 15 level. Obviously, when, at under 15 level might sound a bit strange to some people, but I had my last series of operations at that time, and I just kind of migrated completely towards golf after that. So that's kind of why cricket and water polo kind of ended there for me. During standard, it was grade 10, part of grade 11, I was completely out of action. The only thing I did during that time was golf, and even then it was kind of limited because of my operations that I had during that period.
Dave started with us now about, I think it's been about 3 months. Obviously knowing him, knowing his disability, working around it's made our relationship a lot easier. And his work ethic is always strong. He is a guy that lives, breathes golf every night and day. And you can see it in his results. For a guy doing what he's doing, he's achieving enormously. We've got to understand what his disability is in order to make sure that we know how we're compensating. I mean, you're always going to compensate with individuals that have these things that are in their way. So we know with his lower half, below the hip area, we can't get that rotation that we need and that transfer. So we've tried to open up the hips a little bit more, put them in a position where he can clear earlier than what he used to. And with doing that, it's corrected a couple other things in the swing. It shortened the backswing up a little bit. And we were just discussing how he did at Cotswolds. I asked him for a couple more greens in regulation. He's given me 14, which is phenomenal, So things are moving in the right direction. But like I always say to him, my job as a coach is to make his bad shots better, not his good shots better. And yeah, his dispersion has come down, so his consistency is going to improve. And I think the fact that we've opened a facility close to him just allows him the opportunity now to do the extra things that he needs to do and get a fighting chance to be as good as he possibly can. So it's been awesome coaching him, and we're working really well together, which is nice because I know his history, he knows my history. Even though I'm really hard on him sometimes, he's got his own opinions and points of view, but we find a happy ground. So I feel like it's a good relationship that's working in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to the years to come and the results that are gonna happen.
My leg is stable and it's solid. My right side is obviously a lot stronger than what it would normally be if I didn't have that condition. But in terms of what I need to kind of get around the golf course, this has been a big part of my ability to play. I mean, I've had this is also a knee brace that I've had since I got this in 2010. So what it does is it actually, the way that it fits on my leg is that it goes around my knee like this, and then it straps up here and it clips on there and then around the bottom as well, and it actually pulls the leg a little bit out that way because I have a tendency to be a bit knock-kneed. And this has been it's been an incredible product. I mean, it's literally, it's given me the ability to play golf and, work really well on the actual golf course. So, and this is really kind of my only other product that I really use. I've been fortunate enough to kind of be given the opportunity to play some incredible tournaments over the past couple of years. Notably, obviously, everything's about it. It's kind of a journey. Golf's a never-ending journey, and starting off playing kind of normal able-bodied golf, and then progressing into disabled golf when the kind of the timing was right. It led me to certain opportunities, and starting off playing SCIEG events back in 23. It was building. Disabled golf's gained a lot of momentum over the past couple of years, and there's been a lot more publicity about it. And playing in those SCIEG events enabled me to earn world ranking points that put me into some international events. And I mean, the G4D Tour is an incredible initiative by DP World. And for me as a player, the greatest thing that we can have is the opportunity to play. And I look back at the tournaments that I've played over the last few years, what I've learned from them. Starting off at my first one was at Galgorm Castle, and it was an absolutely nerve-wracking experience. I mean, you're suddenly playing on a European tournament championship golf course. You know, you're walking amongst some of the best players in the world, and you know, I was a bit in over my head. You know, it's also the thing is, you know, when you live in South Africa, you travel to these tournaments, you don't have a lot of time to adjust. So you have, you know, you typically, they Monday, Tuesday, you fly in, you arrive in that country on a Saturday, you get a practice round on a Sunday, and then you're in the tournament. So that was the hardest thing for me to learn how to adjust to different conditions as quickly as possible. And it took me a few tournaments. But the one thing that I was always proud of when I look back was how every tournament I improved in. And, you know, it eventually, I mean, the biggest tournament that I've won was the Singapore Classic. You know, I mean, it goes back to, I think it was in February 23. I didn't have a lot of expectations going in. I was playing all right, but, you know, it's always tricky. And the thing that Singapore was great for me was that it was probably the fairest playing field in terms of everyone had to travel to that event. And it was almost a bit like home. You know, it was hot, it was humid, it was like Durban. And, you know, I've had an incredible week there. And, you know, winning there, competing against, you know, some of the best players in the world, it was, you know, a week I'll never forget. And yeah, it was I mean, it kind of, it makes you hungry. It makes you, you know, disappointed at times that you can't play more. So that was, yeah, it kind of, that's what kind of really lights your fire. You want to get back there, so you work harder and you try harder. And at the end of the day, it's you know, that was a couple years ago now, and you know, I need to pick up another international win. So yeah, I mean, I'm incredibly grateful for all the opportunities that I've had over the past couple of years. And, you know, hopefully we can create more opportunities for more South Africans to play in these events. That's ultimately the goal of SCIEG and what the AAGT is all about.